Phil. So just before I chuck them in, these are the remaining fry. These are the Adam Byer fry to go into the little fry tank. So these I'm absolutely chuffed with. So quality wise, they're really coming on well. So yeah, I'm just going to chuck these in. Dark one there. Obviously that's not an Asagi, those with eyes, those two. But they're not liking the cold, so I'm glad to be pulling them out of the pond. Got my little heater in there at the moment. Do need to get myself a Cloverleaf or something along those lines. But yeah, let's get these bad boys in, bless them. Bonjour everybody! Right, got a bit of a review for you today. Huh? Aren't you lucky? You're very lucky. I'm good to you, aren't I? Yes, I am. But before we do anything, I have put it on YouTube already, but before we do anything in this house, we always have a brew. In this case, tea will be going in the Telford Koi pond mug. Thank you very much, Phil. Your little slice of heaven is now also my little slice of heaven. So, yeah, not sure when this video will come out, but I have actually got the pleasure of popping up and seeing our young Phil. What's the day today? Sunday. Yeah, so this Friday actually, going up with Keith from Seabers and Scott from Koi Ponics, and we're paying a visit to Jack and paying a visit to Phil, which I am very, very excited about. But I'm going to get over there and have some cup of tea, and then I'll nip over and I'll show you the product we're going to review. All right, see you in a minute. Right, so today I'm bringing you a comprehensive review of this banana. Oh, I'm just kidding. So, what came in the post yesterday, I was very fortunate to get this. Spare me 2 ticks. Let's chuck that up there. So, I was planning on getting one of these for the little grow on. Koi vat, whatever you want to call it. I'd added this in the into the basket in Amazon, and my wife went in and saw it in the basket and just assumed I wanted to order it. So, yesterday it came as rather a surprise that this turned up in the post, but it's a happy one. Wasn't too bad a price, obviously. Not the cheapest. It's come from Amazon, so. But yeah, let's open it up. So just basic info there. So I'm going to run this on a flex anyway, in terms of the pipe work. So it's IP55. It's going to be indoors. IP55. It's worth covering it up outside. Comes 1.5 meters of cable, assuming not a plug. Got the low pressure flow switch. I think the early ones didn't have the low pressure pro switch. Low pressure flow switch in them. So a lot of people complained of them shutting off just randomly. Excuse me, I'm a bit out of breath. We've just been taking some stuff upstairs. And as you know, I'm rather unfit. So 1 and 2 kilowatt models. This is the 1 kilowatt model. Right, the box open. So what we got in here? These are like instructions. Whatever. Right, so here it is. Oh, it's slightly bigger than I was expecting. So it comes with solvent weld hose tails. There we go. They feel, yeah, a bit cheap, but I think they'll do the trick. And inside, what else have we got in here? Oh, I do like an unboxing. So we've got a couple of adapters, reducers, subject to the pipe size that you're using. So we'll glue them. We will solvent weld the pipes in. And what have we got in here? Looks like some sandwiches. Oh, they tied a knot in it. Fucking tied a knot in it. I'm assuming there must be some rubber seals in there as well then, if they've tied a knot in it. I can see those ones, but that looks like just 2 threaded. So, okay, here it is. Do you know, I always thought that was a green light on it, but it's not. It's just a sticker. So where's the new light that they refer to? Oh, there it is. So you can actually see now when it's on or off, because the old model people used to moan that you couldn't see whether it was actually functioning or not. So yeah, just basic information there, as I said. So it's just what's this, a 0.75 flex? He says, yeah, 0.75 flex. And obviously no plug. They do give you, I'm not quite sure what the intention of those were, but they'll be coming off. We should just be putting a plug with a fuse on it. 4.5 amp, that's handy. Maximum pressure. So what's handy at the moment as well, I completely forgot. Excuse hat head, but I completely forgot. So at the moment we're all getting our 60 something quid a month off the government until March. So now's janvier. So for the next 2 or 3 months we get well, the government pay for my well, the government don't pay for it, let's face it, it comes out of our taxes, but it's a little bit extra, so running it shouldn't be too much of an issue. In terms of unboxing, I think that's about it. Look, some more instructions there. The banana obviously wasn't for the review, but I'm going to have that banana now. Good for potassium, and it stops you from eating sweets. This year, 2023, I've got to go on a bit of a diet because if you I mean, put it this way, if I was to walk up to a urinal, that's the urinal, look at that, can't see it, not good. But yeah, so I'm going to have a banana, and then we're going to take this out. I'll do a little bit of filming of me putting it on, and then we'll see how she runs, shall we? I'm assuming inside there we just see a heating element. Yeah. Not a lot different from a kettle, really. Temperature-wise, they say it's 0 to 40. However, on 1 kilowatt, I wouldn't want to be running 40 degrees for a small item like this. It costs you a small fortune, man. But yeah, it feels like, I wouldn't say it's well built, but it feels solid. Thankfully, I'm going to run mine on the worktop. I'm not going to run it in here. I'm going to run my pipe work from out there into here, and then I'm going to run it from here back to the pond just so I can control it. That's a good idea. No, I'm going to run this on the side of the pond, so this will just sit on the top, and then I can fix that down. But what was quite, I don't know how you the screws, if you look from the top, I don't know if I'm being daft there, but they've not really thought that through. Needed a bigger base really, because at the moment it's quite unstable. Right, we're out in the garage. Just a very quick point that I wish to make that might help someone, it might not. Bear with me 2 ticks, I'm just trying to get something out of the vice. It's a bit of advice from the vice, there we go, that's what I call it from now on. Advice from the vice. So I've just got my bits and pieces set up. Got my glue, got my bits and pieces. Just cutting the hose tails down because I am using flexible, if you remember rightly. Not everybody loves flexible. My main pond is obviously pressure pipe and plastic, and I wouldn't dream of using flexible on it. But for the little grow on and for smaller ponds and things like that, garden ponds, they have their place. Just going to say, with hose tails, it's always tempting. I mean, it's teaching you to suck eggs, some of you, but for those not, it's always tempted to cut the pipe on the next run down. So if you say you need it this size, actually, yeah, that size, you'll be tempted to cut it across the line. Problem with that is, so I've done 2, but separately. So this one, I keep dropping everything to, oh, for the love of God. Right, there we go. So what I've done is on that one, like I said, I've cut it to the next line, which is fine, but then what you should be doing is you should be cutting part way through the second one, so you still get the 2 ribs for the pipe to lock onto. Bear in mind your Jubilee clip should be up here anyway, not on top of those. But the difference you get with that is night and day. So that one was cut off at the next run, like it's tempting to do. That one's cut off 1.5. But what happens is you end up with this, if you do that, you end up with this horrible, horrible lip. So if you look through there, you can see that lip. Even if you was to file that off or sand it off and get it clear, the reduction is significant. So yeah, don't cut to the next run. Cut to, oops, cut to 1.5. Like, it's not a very good cut, I admit, but it'll do. But yeah, cut halfway through the next one and avoid that. But I wanted to do that for demonstration purposes. Now I've got to go and try and sand this off, because trying to cut that little bit off would be a pain in the arse. The things I do for you. But that's this week's advice from the Vice. We'll see you next week. just for a bit of fun, I thought I'm not going to sand it off. I'm going to try and saw a fraction off. Don't mind the cable underneath. When I slip with the saw, all that'll happen is the teeth will go into the cable. If it's switched on, I'll likely get an electric shock. But don't you worry about that for now. Worry about my sliver. I feel like, you know, when the chefs on the old shopping channel, they cut the tomato. Oh. I have to confess, with decent pipe work that costs you a little bit more, I wouldn't normally sand, but these are extremely shiny, plasticky Chinese pieces, and there's quite a few. Just looking at them very close, I've seen a lot of people complaining online that they cannot get a seal with the union in terms of the solvent weld inside, and that's really not surprising, because where these are manufactured in a two-part, you've got these horrible burrs. These I've just taken off, but you've got horrible burrs, and they're on all of them. And I can imagine, I mean, you're probably only talking, what, 1/4 mil, but I'd imagine that does push. You've got 1/4 mil of glue in then before you've even touched both surfaces. So I've just keyed these up and taken off the key areas. Hopefully we'll get a better seal, but I'm just about to give these a bit of a wipe down, and then we'll crack on. Just going to go at it with my usual little tipple, the old weld on, wet R dry. Wet R dry, not sure what the R stands for, but yeah, remember this is a full-bodied glue, but don't drink it, because it's got symbols on it. Anything with symbols on, don't fucking drink it. You'll end up dead, even if it does say it's full-bodied and tastes lovely. Right, so yeah, I've just given these a clean up, got rid of some of the dust. I've only got one pair of hands at the moment. I've not got a gimbal because I still ain't got it out of the pack, and well, you know, I'm not very good. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to get you, this is a pot of paint, and this is a drill, and I'm making this up as I go along. Probably a pot of paint would work. There you go, right. I'll do this bit in fast forward so you don't have to watch through it all. Right, see you in a bit. See ya. Love ya. So Eagle Eye amongst you would notice the first one there I absolutely ballsed up. So you can see the relatively tidy one on the left. The one on the right I completely forgot. I didn't put the adapter in, so I literally had to very quickly change tact. But what I'll do is I'll quickly run some abrasive paper over that just to tidy it up, because it does, I admit, look fucking awful. But yeah, that's what it should look like. That's really what it shouldn't look like. Look, fucking fingerprints and glue all over it. But yeah, never mind. It's in there. It's all done up tight. Flow wise, it'll be all right. Job's a good one. So we can get that hooked on now. Then away we go. Right, so that's everything done. The only thing I've got to do is I managed to find a plug, but it's got a 13 amp fuse in it. So obviously I just need to run. I think it does state on it 4.5 amps. So in theory a 5 amp should be fine, but I'm just obviously, easiest thing to do to double check if it's not on there is take your power. So this is 1 kilowatt or 1000. Divide by, they say 220, but you can go 240 to allow for fluctuations. Roughly, or that's what I do. I don't know if that's right or not. Yeah, so wattage divided by 240, and that should give, I think it comes out about 4.1 or 4.2. So I'm going to go with, I think I've got some nice new 5 amp fuses in here. He says, oh, 5 amp. Yes, they are 5 amps. That's what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to get this on, and then we can then take the hose tails that have now dried but are looking rather untidy, or one is looking rather untidy, and we'll get that hooked up. Catch you in a bit. Alright, so this is its final resting position. What I was hoping to do is be able to cut the pipe and transfer it straight over. I don't think that's going to be the case, and to be honest with you, it's then going to be very tight. So what I'm actually going to do is, where I've got that going through the hole at the moment, I think what I'm going to do is, I've got two choices here. I can either bring it back further, but then that's putting it near the filter, or I can bring it back through here and come round. I'm not sure yet. Either way, I'm going to end up re-drilling, because I don't want to have to notch out the cover for the pond. I could notch the cover out for the pond, I suppose, for the cover. I don't know. I'll come back to you in a minute when I've sorted it out, but you don't need to watch me pondering and contemplating. That would just make boring viewing, wouldn't it? Alright, sorry guys, I've jumped ahead a bit. So, a massive Jubilee clips now. This is a bit daft. It's pointless trying to screw this down onto something. So, what I've done is at my workbench, I actually screwed that just to a small bit of timber. So then after, I could just fix that down just so it holds it in place. Just try to put it a bit straighter so it takes some of the pressure off of these joints, if you like. As I say, pipework originally came up and through, but for piss arse and about sakes in the future, I mean, it's hampered me in terms of these boxes anyway, because I used to slide that along. Well, I say I used to, I've not done it yet, but I plan to slide those along should they need cleaning or anything doing to them. But in theory, that should be taking the muck. But yeah, so what I'm going to do now is just have a play around. So filter-wise, it's not... pump-wise, it's not where it should be anyway, so that won't be there. But I'm just having to make some small adaptations to, obviously, the cover, the frame. So I'm just going to do that now. I've literally just got a notch out and then push it back a bit, if that makes sense. And job's a good one. But some of you I know will be thinking that, Dave, looks like an absolute bodge. That looks like 3 bits of wood stuck together. Quite frankly, I'm disgusted, but I would agree it is a bodge. But needs must, I'm on a time scale. And it's groundworks, not cookery. It's actually joinery, not cookery. It's actually, well, it's just a bodge, isn't it, really? So that's all on. So now, what I've got to do is peel back the plastic, make a few cuts. I've cut myself a few times. Get the staple back on. I'm going to hose it off, because obviously there's a lot of dust we don't want that ended up on the grow on. And then I think we're ready to turn it on, lo and behold. Alright. Alright, that's now all switched on. Excuse the noise as the filter kicks in. Now's the time to look for some leaks. I'm going to give it 5 or 10 minutes, thankfully. Underneath is dry, so I'll be able to see. So I'll come back to you in a couple of minutes and hopefully we're all square. So I'm quite surprised at that because they have me 2 ticks. I'll just dig this out. So the pond is roughly, so there's 10 and each dot is 2, so it's roughly 11 degrees. If I play around with the thermostat now, so it's on, let me get you around there a bit. Hey, hook, there we go. Right, so obviously this is, I'm assuming, this bit is the, so there's 10. Alright, keep an eye out for the light down here. So it's just coming over to 10. Look at that. I'm quite surprised, probably only a few degree out, which is unusual. Right, let's get it up to 40. Have a bath in it. But no, I want to go for 15 is my 15, 16. So we'll get it up to that, see what it says. We ain't blown the fuse, so that's always a good thing. But yeah, I'm going to switch it off for a minute. But yeah, 15, 16 is where I hope to be. We'll see how we go. It'd be interesting to see how long it takes to heat 1,600 litres as well. But yeah, that's about it for now. I'll come back to you in a bit, probably tomorrow once it's been running. Let you know if I wasted my money or not. Ciao. Just before I go, so we're at 11 degrees. We want to heat to 15, 16 odd, and I'll use the thermometer in the water to test it. So now is 13.50, so 10 to 2. What I'll do is I'll check every half hour or so and we'll see how long it takes to heat. So 1,650 litres. And then we can see how quick on the 1 kilowatt it'll do. Alright, so, like I say, 13.50, 10 to 2, lights on, nobody's home. Just while I'm waiting for that water to heat up, just thought I'd bring you in, have a better look at some of the fry. Excuse the lighting, it hates filming. There's the Ochibas there and shower. Some Gahaku Gin Matsuba, although it has got a bit of orange on it. Got the old Chags. Got some Yamabukis, Ogons in there. Got another Deutz, Ochiba, the Asagis. Granwell. There's some of the goldfish are in there obviously still, so discount them, they'll stay in their home. Funny little Ochiba at the back there. I think it's Ochiba. Although I'm not sure. He's very dark, but we'll see how he comes through. That's one of the original fry, actually. He's poorly. Well, he's not poorly now. He's healed in here. He lost a fin. Matsuba there. Another Matsuba. This one's quite small. He's very sweet. I'm thinking I'll keep that one. But yeah, they're all growing, but I suppose for scale, that's not, because they're not right against the glass. That's probably a really stupid idea. For scale. But yeah, no, they are they're quite big. So 2 to 3 inches, I suppose, at the moment. Roughly. But yeah, I could genuinely sit in this seat all day and just watch them. But to do that, I'd have to be unemployed, which ain't gonna pay the mortgage, I'm afraid. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to get another cup of tea. Goodbye. Bonjour. Wrapped up like a snug as a bug in a rug. It's absolutely freezing today. Monday, work is done, so I thought I'd pop in the old fry room and just give a quick update of the Cloverleaf 1 kilowatt heater. So moved it up 2 degrees. So moved it up 2 degrees yesterday and 2 degrees today. Scrap that. 2 degrees, 2 degrees, 2 degrees and 2 degrees. So over 3 days, sorry. So 6 degrees over 3 days. We're now holding at about 18 degrees. Bear me 2 ticks. What's nice is I'm actually able to throw some food in now. Everybody is nice and active, having a good swim round, which is lovely. Bear me 2 ticks, get this out of the light. There we go, so 18 degrees. Each mark is 2 degrees 18. What that looks like on the actual thermostat is so that's not a couple of degrees either way. It's not a million miles out. Obviously you've got to have that thermometer to back up. But what I will say, compared to my little old aquarium heater that I had, this is a different ball game. It really is. It's not coming on, as you can see at the moment. I've got the lid up, so I'm obviously holding a bit of heat in here. The pond was insulated, as you saw when building it, and I've got the covers on. Still need to get some polycarbonate for those, I know, just to add to it. But yeah, no, it holds heat well. When the heater does have to come on, it's pretty quick. There's 6,000, well, probably time taking into account head height, you've probably got about 5,500 litres per hour going through that. I do keep forgetting, I must remember, there's sometimes I turn the filter off to have a look at the fish and I forget actually the water's running through the heater, but it's got a thermal cut off, but I do need to be careful. But yeah, as a whole, what's quite nice in here is, even with the heat, the covers are obviously holding it in because we're still quite dry. There's that up there. But that was there before I even turned the heater on, if I'm honest. But yeah, everyone's in there, everyone's happy. Can't really see them. They tend to, so this stays fixed in place, so they tend to stay at the back. It's a shame, I wanted to show you, now he's settled in, I was going to show you the Deutsche Achiever. I'm really chuffed with how he's coming along, but we'll measure growth. Like I say, they've started eating again, so that's good news. That's a Ginrin gone over the back there, very nice. Yeah, it's got some cracking Asagis. You did see those in the bucket, I know, but they are nice. There's my Deutsche Achiever. Yeah, real red. You can't really see it. He's probably, what, 6-7 inches now. 150 to 170 or 17 centimetres. Yeah, it's just nice to see them all active. But yeah, these the Adam Byer Asagi, I'm looking forward to seeing them grow. But we shall see how we get on. But yeah, in terms of the Cloverleaf, do you know what? I'm really chuffed. It's for the price. It's a great little bit of kit. It's been fairly reliable so far. I've had no issues with it. I say fairly reliable. The fact that I've not had any issues would deduce that actually it's very reliable. So scrap my last comment. But yeah, it's doing a grand job. It is. I can't really say much more than that. Hope you enjoyed this. If you've got any questions, RE, the koi, the grow on, the tank, whatever you want to call it, or about the Cloverleaf, feel free to get in contact. I do know I watch other YouTube channels, and some of them are quite active in the comments, and I quite like that. It'd be nice to chat to people. Perhaps I'm not approachable. Can't see that being it. But yeah, so yeah, any questions or just for a chinwag, drop some comments down. I don't always reply straight away, but I do reply, I can promise that. But I'm not very good with social media and things, as my friends will very well tell you. But yeah, any questions, comments, or indeed improvements or things that I've got wrong, I'd be really glad to hear it. So part of this hobby is always improving and bettering yourself and betterment in general. So yeah, me and my woolly hat, we're buggering off now because it's freezing cold out here. I don't think I've ever been so tempted to get in the old pond. So that's it from me. Stay safe, everyone. I'm going to go indoors. It's freezing cold. Yeah, try and stay warm. Put your heating on regardless of cost. And I'll catch you next time. Be safe, guys.